Yep, Virginia.
Sounded, Rachel, like you're looking for suspense tonight. That's exactly what we have to deliver people as we come up to the top of our first hour of returns. That would be 7 o'clock Eastern time, the first list. And here we go. Here's what we have for you. At 7 p.m., these are all NBC News projections. Georgia, too early to call. Indiana, as expected, we are projecting Donald Trump as the projected winner there. Virginia, too early to call, though Biden is leading. In Kentucky, too early to call at this hour. South Carolina, too early to call at this hour. Vermont, up in New England, too early to call. Here is the long and arduous road to 270 electoral votes. Again, one state awarded. As expected, it went to the incumbent president.
Let's go to Brian.
Forgive me, as I will ask every time we hear that sound, which means we have a call, and here it is. His first inroad into New England, as expected. Joe Biden has been awarded by our projection. The state of Vermont will go to the national map. There we are, the road to 270. One each at this hour, coming up on 7:19 Eastern. Back to the
Florida,
east end.
where we're suddenly getting, oh, here we go.
Back to Steve.
We missed the, let me cut in there. We missed the audio from Brian there. We've got issues with Brian's mic. NBC News is now projecting a winner in the Kentucky presidential race. President Donald Trump projected to be the winner in Kentucky. That will be 8 electoral votes for the president. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Steve?
Yeah, so let's take a quick look here at Georgia again as we come up toward the top of the hour. The next set, going to take a while. So Georgia, I do think tonight we'll get a lot, but it'll take a while.
Okay, 10 seconds to go to bring us to the top of the hour. A slew of poll closings at 8 o'clock Eastern, in addition to updates on the states that have already closed. The 8 o'clock hour is now upon us, and here we go. In the state of Florida, if you've been watching our coverage, you know the state of conversation there. We are saying the race is too close to call, separated by just under 10,000. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, big race, big electoral vote fight tonight, too early to call. In the state of New Hampshire, too early to call. In my home state of New Jersey, Joe Biden, the projected winner of 14 electoral votes. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Joe Biden, the projected winner tonight. In the state of Maryland, Joe Biden, the predicted winner tonight. In Oklahoma, Donald Trump holds on to Oklahoma. In Delaware, native son Joe Biden is the projected winner. In D.C., where you can vote without representation in Congress, Joe Biden, the projected winner of the District of Columbia. In Illinois, too early to call is our call. In Tennessee, too early to call, though a lead by Donald Trump. In Missouri, too early to call. In Alabama, too early to call. Nutmeg state of Connecticut, too early to call, though we note a lead on the part of Joe Biden. Mississippi, too early to call. Maine, too early to call. Rhode Island, too early to call, though again we note a lead at this hour on the part of Joe Biden. Ohio, of the battlegrounds, remains too early. Georgia remains too early for us to call. North Carolina remains too early to call. Here is the long and winding road to 270. The colored-in states are the states we have projected, the states we have awarded. Let's check in on some.
And then if you go back to 2012, I think you got something. You can see the trend.
We have a projection, and that is a Trump victory as expected in the state of Tennessee with its 11 electoral votes. That is our NBC News projection when all the votes are counted. Steve, back to you, back to the state of Texas.
Yeah, so I mean, again, what we're seeing here,
Indeed can project that when the U.S. Senate goes back in session, Mitch McConnell will either be majority or minority leader. In any event, the voters in the state of Kentucky have awarded him a 7th term in office. At age 78, Mitch McConnell has pushed back the challenge from Amy McGrath. Right now, a pretty healthy lead. He is our projected winner in the state of Kentucky, already awarded to Donald Trump. Rachel, forgive me, back to your conversation.
No.
At 8:23 Eastern Time, we come back from a break with 2 calls. The state of West Virginia, as expected, has been awarded to Donald Trump with its 5 electoral votes. And then the land of steady habits, as they call it, the nutmeg state of Connecticut, 7 electoral votes in the Joe Biden column. We'll show you where that leads us as the states color in on the road to 270 with awarded electoral votes thus far. While we were in that last commercial break, the colors started exploding off the map of North Carolina, which
because we expect the same deal favor Trump.
Hey, Steve, forgive me. We are awarding the state of Arkansas, as expected, to Donald Trump. 6 electoral votes. That's where the vote is coming down as of this hour, and this is what this state does now to the map. You see red filling in the center of the country. Arkansas now completes that 3-state swing. You see the blue coming up in the Northeast. We're back at it, Steve.
And that was North.
We're inside 15 seconds coming up on the 9 p.m. hour here in the East. There is the list of states with poll closings right now, 3 seconds away from the top of the hour. And here we go. NBC News is projecting, let's start with a big one, a big Northeast state with 29 electoral votes. NBC News projecting, as expected, Joe Biden will win in New York. We move on to Texas. We've been talking about Texas. We have it too early to call. Michigan, hugely critical state tonight, too early to call. Wisconsin, ditto, too early to call. Minnesota, too early to call. To the vital southwest state of Arizona, too early to call. Colorado, too early, though Biden, we note, is in the lead. Louisiana, too early, though Trump, we note, is in the lead. In Kansas, too early to call. Let's go through the Midwest. Nebraska, too early to call. Southwest to New Mexico, too early to call. On up to North Dakota, too early to call. Slightly south to South Dakota, too early, though we note Trump leading in South Dakota as expected. And Wyoming, too early to call. Donald Trump is in the lead in Wyoming. Let's check out the bar graph from the outback view of our building. The road to 270 electoral votes awarded thus far, 80 to 48 at this hour. One more round of the battlegrounds. Florida, too close to call. Pennsylvania, too early to call in the 9 o'clock hour. Ohio, too early to call. Georgia, too early to call. North Carolina, too early to call. And in New Hampshire, again, too early to call with its 4 electoral votes. Let's look at the color map of the states awarded thus far. Are you picking up a trend here at all? Let's also review some of the major Senate races people have been watching and following for months now. John Cornyn is heading back to the U.S. Senate from the state of Texas. In Arizona, the McSally-Kelly race, too early to call. In Colorado, talk about a closely watched race. Cory Gardner, John Hickenlooper, too early to call. And in Michigan, the Senate race, too early to call. That's going to do our review with the seats Democrats
African Americans and lots of those wine moms, you can do well.
Forgive the interruption. Another state call, and that is, as expected, Donald Trump, the winner in South Dakota. And while it hasn't come up a lot tonight, there is that stretch of coronavirus that is raging through the Dakotas right now, just part of the backdrop of the vote in 2020 during an uncontrolled pandemic. But that's our projection that when it's all said and done, looks to be about a 70-30 split in South Dakota. Here is another red state on the national map. Sorry, back to the conversation.
Let's watch that number and let's see what happens.
Steve, I got one you may be interested in. Here is a flip for the Democrats. Colorado. Joe Biden. Not a flip, forgive me. This is presidential Colorado. 9 electoral votes. Take back what I said about a flip. Steve, back to you at the board as we look at the first blue state west of the Mississippi for the Democrats on the road to 270. And again, electoral votes awarded by our projections thus far, 89-51. Here we go again. A matching Dakota has been projected for Donald Trump. Again, as expected, North Dakota to go along with South Dakota. Sharp-eyed viewers saw that we had quietly added that bit of red in the northern plains. That's our projection with its 3 electoral votes. That's how the map fills in. Rachel, back over to you.
Sorry, I stepped on you there for a second.
My friend Rachel alluded to this before the break. This is the Alabama call. Donald Trump has, that's unchanged, Republican status. But let's go to Senate, Colorado. Sorry, here is the map of electoral votes and states awarded thus far. A lot of this is loaded into our computers, so try as we might, we can't avoid it. This was the race we were alluding to. I knew we were on the cusp of a call. That, indeed, is a flip for the Democrats in the Senate. John Hickenlooper over Cory Gardner. For the Republicans, John Cornyn is returning to the Senate from Texas. In Alabama, this widely watched Senate race too early to call. In Arizona, the Mark Kelly-Martha McSally race too early to call. Kansas Senate, additionally, too early to call. Let's go up to the state of Maine. Talk about widely watched, too early to call. Let's go out to Michigan. Too early to call between James and Peters. Arkansas, Tom Cotton's going back to the U.S. Senate. In fact, we have a list of incumbents that are going right back to the U.S. Senate, starting with Chris Coons, Democratic side, Delaware. Ed Mackey up in Massachusetts. Turns out his biggest challenge was a Democrat named Kennedy. New Hampshire, Shaheen's going back to the Senate. New Jersey, Cory Booker's going back to the Senate. Oklahoma, Senator Inhofe going back to the Senate. Mike Rounds is going back from South Dakota. And Tennessee Senate seat will remain in Republican hands with Bill Hagerty, the projected winner tonight. At this hour, U.S. Senate makeup, this is a lot. 40 Dems, 37 Republicans. Net gain of 1 for the Democrats. That's the Hickenlooper victory in Colorado. Cory Gardner was about as heavily targeted as any Republican incumbent going into this cycle. Rachel and colleagues, over to you.
Thank you, Brian.
We have a call from the Southwest, and that is that Joe Biden has been awarded New Mexico and its 5 electoral votes. Thanks to Vaughn and his good reporting, we've been talking about the Southwest since this puts another blue square on the map west of the Mississippi. Nicole Wallace, where do you put states like Arizona right about now?
So Arizona is one of the...
As expected, Donald Trump hangs on to the state of South Carolina. 9 electoral votes, back to you and your conversation in the studio, Rachel.
Well, speaking of the Senate, the drama in South Carolina.
This is Alabama Senate, and remember how Doug Jones shook the political world when he won as a Democrat. Doug Jones has lost tonight. This is a flip to the Republicans. Tommy Tuberville is the new senator-elect. So Democrats went one up in Colorado. Republicans went one up in Alabama. I was never good at math, but it seems like we're right back to where we started tonight, unless your name is Tuberville or Hickenlooper. We're back to 4 needed to gain, Rachel, for the Democrats.
Let's talk about what's going on in Arizona. Sorry. 2
more projections here. NBC News has determined that when all is said and done, Democrats will retain control of the House of Representatives, and that's all we're saying. And in the state of Louisiana, we have prepared to make a call when all the votes are counted. As expected, Donald Trump, the projected winner in the state of Louisiana. And as I've been speaking, we have just added Kansas, as expected, in the Trump column. Let's go to the map and see where the colors work out. Rachel, back over to you.
Steve, we're looking at Senate races and presidential races.
We have another call, and this is another New England state, and that is New Hampshire. And it's for electoral votes awarded to Joe Biden. We believe when all the votes are counted, differentiated by about 22,000 votes right now. Let's take a look at the map and see where this leaves us as we look nationally. Again, 2 different trends of blue, southwest, northeast, red from the Mississippi Valley to the Atlantic seaboard, all the way up through the Middle Plains. Rachel?
Before we rejoin this discussion.
We do. This is not a flip or a surprise, but we have awarded the state of Utah and its 6 electoral votes to the Trump column. We'll convert over to the national colorized map and see that this extends past Colorado now, the block of red that starts in the middle of the country. Rachel, back to you.
It's interesting. In Utah in 2016, of course, we had that unusual dynamic. This. NBC has now projected that in the great state of Missouri, President Donald Trump will once again be the winner in Missouri. Again, that is not a pickup for the Republicans. Missouri has been deep red and in the Republican column for some time now, but that Missouri call is now official in terms of NBC News' projection. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, again, we'll be looking at North Carolina right now, too close to call. Arizona, too early.
We are back. You'll note Missouri snuck in there before the break. Illinois has spoken. Neither of these are pickups. They're holds. This is Joe Biden, the projected winner of Illinois, and it's 20 electoral votes. And Senator Dick Durbin is going to remain in the U.S. Senate as well from the state of Illinois. So 2 holds for the Democrats. And to Steve Kornacki, can you bring us up to speed on...
Here you go. Oh, I think we got something.
Excuse the interruption. Nebraska, part of the split electoral vote, Nebraska, as projected, is being projected to Donald Trump. And we've explained this before. The split congressional district, this is the western part, the part that has not been striped on our map. Rachel, please, back to your
Sure, myself right now, because I believe Brian has some calls.
We have some calls. None of them flips Mississippi. The projected winner is Donald Trump. That's a hold. Wyoming, the projected winner is Donald Trump. Lindsey Graham is headed back to the U.S. Senate after we take a look at the road to 270. Lindsey Graham is headed back to the U.S. Senate from South Carolina. Jamie Harrison, despite a flood of outside money, especially at the end of this thing. Could not do it, could not convert it in the state of South Carolina. The Georgia second race will be indeed a runoff between Warnock and Loeffler. That we have just been able to put in the runoff category. It's a lot to balance, but Rachel, this is what we do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a lot. It does mean that.
And boy, does some of the numbers start to add up as we get late in the night, however frustrating this night is for many, many of our viewers. Coming up here on 11 o'clock Eastern time, and here we go. The state of California awards 55 electoral votes, as is our projection. Not a surprise to Joe Biden. Oregon, 7 electoral votes to Joe Biden. Washington, 12 electoral votes to Joe Biden. Idaho, too early to call. We have determined Trump leads. Here's the graphic to 270. It's 192, 114 at this hour. 270 is where you start the conversation. Here's backfilling some of the races we're watching. This is Florida, too close to call, and we have determined this to be too close to call, though Trump leads. North Carolina, too close to call. Texas, too early to call, Trump leads. Pennsylvania, too early to call. Ohio, too early to call, Trump leads. Michigan, too early to call, period. Georgia, too early to call. Arizona, too early to call, Biden leads. Wisconsin, too early to call. Minnesota, too early to call. Iowa, too early to call. Nevada, too early to call. What are the odds? Let's look at the map. We've been watching the color-coded states get awarded all night. To think that 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 hours ago when we started this, it was a blank gray slate. Low, they have filled in. Low, there's a lot of math to go.
Steve Kornacki? Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, we got a big number here. NBC News is projecting Ohio will go in the Trump column when all the votes are counted. 53-45 race right now. That'll change, that'll fluctuate, but that is our projection. 18 electoral votes, a hugely valuable state in the Donald Trump column.
That had previously been characterized as too early to call with Trump in the lead. But again, Ohio now projecting Trump as the winner of Ohio. In terms of what remains outstanding in closely watched swing states, in Florida
Steve,
right now.
thank you. We have just passed midnight here on the East Coast. We're in the heart of the order out west. It's a few minutes after 9 p.m. Here's the way we see it. Hawaii, where thoughts turn on a Tuesday night in a boarded-up Manhattan. Hawaii, 4 electoral votes, too early to call. Florida, 29 electoral votes. We have it as too close to call, Trump leads. North Carolina, too close to call. Texas, too early to call, Trump leads. Pennsylvania, too early to call, period. Michigan, same thing, too early to call. Georgia, too early to call. Arizona, too early to call, Biden leads. Wisconsin, too early to call. Minnesota, too early to call. Iowa, too early to call. Nevada, as we have just cataloged, too early to call. Here's the map. Oh, we have one more. Idaho to Donald Trump, your projected winner. That is no change from the 2016 map. Let's go to tonight's map, which you'll recall hours ago started in all gray without a single state filled in. That is about mirroring how these states have fallen tonight. We have so many in the margins yet to be decided. all indications are it will be days before we know. I am very eager to get to our next guest. This would be, hang on, we have a call in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Couldn't even introduce James. The projected winner in the Commonwealth of Virginia is Joe Biden. So, 13 electoral votes in his column, and let's put up where that leaves us on the road to 270, just to remind everybody. And then we'll talk to our friend James. 206 to 136 race right now, and there it may remain rather paralyzed. James, you predicted a night over, done and dusted.
And promised that all votes have been counted.
Well, look at this. Sorry to interrupt. NBC News is projecting Donald Trump will be the ultimate winner in Florida, and it's 29 electoral votes. Running right now 51-2 to 47-8, separated by just shy of 400,000 votes in what has just become such a hugely valuable, influential, and for the Democrats, vexing state. As Claire McCaskill and others have pointed out tonight to soothe the anxieties of her fellow Democrats, this was never a projected Biden state. It was on the wish list. It was hoped for. You don't send Barack Obama into a state you don't want. But the candidate himself did not make it. Aids of news, second part of which refers to your beat tonight. First of all, we are projecting the state of Iowa will go to Donald Trump when all the votes are in and counted. And more than that, Joni Ernst, it appears, is heading back to the U.S. Senate. She was under real and concentrated threat for her seat, had a bad debate appearance days before the calendar day of Election Day, and Joni Ernst, U.S. military veteran, is going back into the U.S.
to the White House. That's the optimism I think Democrats should have right now.
We have another call just since in the time you've been talking. Another big piece of real estate on the map. No flip, no change. As expected, Donald Trump has won the state of Montana with its 3 electoral votes. Just under 50. Another state call, one of the states you just ran through, and that is Texas. It turns out that Democrats, maybe some of them, spotted a blue mirage in some of the early numbers, and hope overcame facts in this case. Texas remains a red state under Donald Trump, and 52-46 and change is where we have the percentages right now. But here is how it affects the road to 270, because that is a chunk of electoral votes. That's a big hunk of red that now makes a south to north path up through the Dakotas for President Trump. No change here again, but still a big piece of political real estate. Robert Gibbs is back just since in the time you've been talking. Another big piece of real estate on the map. No flip, no change. As expected, Donald Trump has won the state of Montana with its 3 electoral votes. Just under 52 44 for Joe Biden in Maine. Too early to call, but Biden is leading. Remember, there are all kinds of vagaries about the way Mainers vote in these elections. The congressional district divide, the ranked voting. You see Montana, we just flashed from stripes to solid red. Again, you can see the geographic. It's a small one. It's a mighty one. And that's Rhode Island with its 4 electoral votes. Joe Biden has been projected the winner of Rhode Island. And just as regionalisms have changed and come and gone and developed over the past few election cycles, the Northeast, New England, has become, as you can see reflected on the map, dependable, safe blue ground as for right now. Maine, of course, as we mentioned, for you with calculators who were paying attention, because we have a call on Nebraska 2, Steve Kornacki, that district with its one electoral vote, where we're reminded Donald Trump flew in and did a rally looking for that electoral vote. That was the famous evening people had a 3-mile walk in the cold. That has been awarded to Joe Biden, correct?
Yeah, and there it is. We were just going through it. We can call it back up on the screen right here. This is Omaha metro area. And again, these are the same numbers we were just looking at. There's one update, I think, to come here, but there weren't too many votes left. This is a district Democrats felt very confident in because we've talked about the growing Democratic strength in suburbs, metropolitan areas. Donald Trump had carried this by just 3 points in 2016. Democrats were very confident they could get it this time. Barack Obama, by the way, back in 2008 when he beat John McCain, also carried this district. It had been Republican since then. It goes back to the Democrats, goes to Biden tonight. Democrats get their first electoral vote out of Nebraska in a dozen years.
I mean, and there's no doubt that they'll be counted.
Yeah.
Forgive us, the state of Minnesota has been projected to go in the Biden column. It's late at night, but it happened. It got a little wobblier earlier in the evening than a lot of Democrats would have preferred, but as Claire McCaskill pointed out in her prediction that it would go blue, it went blue. That's the margin that we're working on right now, 53.5 to 46 and change. And here is where your road to 270 is, 220, 213, but it's early yet. Sorry, Nicole.
We're also looking at the Minnesota Senate race. This is something that I raised earlier on the air. This is incumbent Democratic Senator Tina Smith, who faced a strong challenge from a Republican named Jason Lewis. But NBC can now project that Tina Smith has held onto her seat in Minnesota. You see the difference there, just under 200,000 votes with 84% of the vote in. But Tina Smith will be returning to the United States Senate from the great state of Minnesota. We still do have a number of Senate races outstanding, as well as, more states than you'd expect at this point. Maine, Hawaii, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania.
Actually, a call to make at 4:38 a.m. The state of Hawaii and its 4 electoral votes going to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner in that state. We just saw Steve talk about why that is important. Once again, Hawaii now being called for Joe Biden, winning there quite substantially, 65% to Joe Biden. That brings his total up to 224 electoral votes to President Trump's 213. Here's where things
have been counted. NBC News now projects that Maine goes to Biden. 3 of Maine's electoral votes. That is a split. There are 4 electoral votes. There's 1 congressional district that goes to Donald Trump. MSNBC's Ali Velshi is at the big board with a look at where things stand now. Ali, give us the very latest. Maine is the latest.
Good morning, Andrea. If Donald Trump had one of these, he might be a little.
So NBC News can now say that Joe Biden is the apparent winner in Wisconsin. The apparent winner in Wisconsin. That would award him, if it does officially go to him, those 10 electoral votes. 99% of the vote in. Joe Biden, 49.4%. Donald Trump, 48.8%, a difference of 20,510 votes. There's still a little bit left to come in. The Donald Trump team has already said that they are going to demand a recount in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin will allow them to do that.
Casey, give that to me one more time from the control room. NBC News is projecting Joe Biden the winner of the key battleground state of Michigan. All of its 16 electoral votes go to Joe Biden. As we said, he is the one with the clearest path to 270. Let's see where that puts him. Look at here, another razor-thin margin for Joe Biden over Donald Trump. As this vote was coming in, the outstanding vote
Right now, in terms of the United States Senate, is that correct? Yes. NBC News can now project that in the United States Senate race in the great state of Michigan, Democratic incumbent Gary Peters has held on and will be returning to the Senate. This is an important part in terms of the Democrats and Republicans' calculation in terms of the balance of power in the Senate. It's also been a real drama for Peters himself. That was a tight race. It has taken sort of second place in the national media's attention to the presidential fight in Michigan, but that Senate race was very, very hard fought. Gary Peters will be returning to the U.S. Senate. Again, that's just new. NBC News just projecting that at this hour.
Don't they know there's going to continue to be legal challenges?
I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
We've got to call a race here. We're going to go back out west here, and we can call this race the projected winner in Arizona. That special Senate race, Mark Kelly, the projected winner in Arizona. It was a closer race than some expected. Martha McSally had been appointed to that seat, but Mark Kelly picking up a seat for Democrats in the upper chamber there. Mark Kelly, of course, the former astronaut, also the husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was nearly assassinated at a campaign event several years ago. Mark Kelly going to the Senate. This is how the upper chamber looks at this hour. 48-48. And oh, by the way, there's a very good...
Okay, we have an announcement to make. Joe Biden is president-elect of the United States. Biden is being called with the Pennsylvania votes that have just come in. Biden has been elected, Mika, and tell us about him.
Well, the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, has run for president 3 times, and the 3rd time has turned out to be the charm. Not only the charm, but possibly the most consequential election of our lifetimes. He is 77 years old. He was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but calls Wilmington, Delaware, his home. At the age of 29, Joe Biden became one of the youngest people ever elected to the U.S. Senate, and that is where he stayed for decades. Even, quite frankly, through tremendous...
Another projection, NBC News is now projecting Joe Biden as the winner of Nevada. 6 electoral votes in Nevada. The electoral vote victory by Joe Biden continues to increase at this hour. NBC News projecting Joe Biden, the winner of Nevada's 6 electoral votes. That brings Joe Biden's total in the Electoral College now to 279. Donald Trump still...
Breaking news. As we have been speaking, NBC News has projected President Trump as the winner of the state of Alaska, a state that was still counting ballots. Republican Senator Dan Sullivan also held on to his Senate seat there. Coming up next, coronavirus cases and hospitalizations.
Coming up on 11:15 Eastern Time, this many days after Americans actually went to the polls. NBC News is projecting that when every last vote is counted in the state of Arizona, Joe Biden will be awarded 11 electoral votes. Joe Biden, your projected winner in the state of Arizona. Part of America's long post-election period. You see the outliers still remain North Carolina and Georgia. Vaughn Hilliard standing by in Scottsdale in his home state of Arizona to talk about this.
NBC News is now ready to make a couple calls. Let's start with the first. In the state of Georgia, where there's currently a hand recount being done, Joe Biden is the apparent winner. Again, Joe Biden, the apparent winner in Georgia. We use the word apparent when results could change, such as in a recount, although it's not expected that Donald Trump is going to make up that deficit in Georgia. Also, in the state of North Carolina, another state that we had been waiting on, we can now say that Donald Trump is the winner of North Carolina, the projected winner of North Carolina. This gives Donald Trump 15 electoral votes. But Joe Biden is still well in the lead in the Electoral College and is now president-elect and has been so since Pennsylvania was called. Biden with 306 electoral votes, Donald Trump with 232. If everything remains as it is right now, that will be the outcome of the election, 306 to 232. Joe Biden taking over the Sun Belt, Arizona, and getting Georgia. Quite a remarkable thing.
This is breaking news. NBC News now projects Raphael Warnock as the winner in the special Georgia Senate election tonight. Raphael Warnock, the projected winner, beating incumbent Senator Kelly Loeffler with a, at this point, 36,000 vote margin. The votes are still now up to 40,000. The votes are still being counted in Georgia. Raphael Warnock is building that lead. Let's go.
NBC News now projecting that Jon Ossoff, the Democrat, will win the Senate runoff in the state of Georgia. And that leads to the projection that Democrats will regain control of the U.S. Senate. It'll be a 50-50 split. Vice President Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect, as Vice President, will have the tie-breaking vote. So that just breaking here a few moments ago before we went